when you try putting cinnamon on your sweet potatoes for the first time. Now the difference between a kabocha and a buttercup is that kabocha is trash. Woo! Hello honeys, happy Catterday, because this video is going up on Catterday. It is Thursday for me, so hello from the past and welcome to the future. Right now, I'm just making up some tea. I'm about to go on a call with my girl, April, and we're gonna talk biz. She's a fellow entrepreneur, so we just love to have calls so that we can just sort of jam on some ideas and motivate one another, and it's just really, really great. So I'm gonna go on a call with her, but right now, it's tea time, honey. So I am deciding, do I want peppermint tea? Or lately, guys, I've been feeling the decaf green. I have. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna go decaf green. Let's do it. I also, guys, wanted to tell you that apparently I'm a 14-year-old boy with voice cracks. I was going to film my ab workout this morning for you guys, but I pulled an intercostal muscle. Yeah, let me know. I'm never the type of person who's like, I'm injured, I'm sick. But that has been me. I am talking about my knee hurting and now I've pulled an intercostal muscle and I'm just the worst, right, Ty?
Yeah.
I am the worst.
Who are you talking to?
All my friends, the gang's all here. Wanna come say hi? What do you have to say to us, healthy brother?
I'm starving right now.
What are you gonna go get?
I don't know. Actually, I already ate. Not really that hungry right now.
This kid, he's like 6'3" and like 100 pounds. Like, I think we weigh the same amount. He has a metabolism. You could be in the Guinness Book of World Records for that metabolism.
Like a hummingbird.
Literally, Ty wins best. Where'd you go? I thought you were still in the frame.
I am the best grandchild.
Ty is the best grandchild. He went for lunch with Nana. He goes for lunch with Nana every Tuesday. Okay, I have to go get on this call. Hey, babe.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Headed to the grocery store. It's raining and I want to show you guys all the different types of winter squash that we can get. Have my reusable bag, Avi. If you don't bring your reusable bag, didn't know you hated the earth so much. Guys, I posted this meme in the Healthy Hunnies. Literally, is that not the best meme that you've ever seen? Like, amazing. All right, grocery store. Oh, this is why I love fall so much. I just cannot even. This is so amazing. All right, let's do this. Can you believe that nature makes this? Like, that is so wild. So cool. I want an electrical blanket. Why, hello. And welcome to All About Squash with Emmy. So I got a bunch of different squashes and I thought that I would talk to them. While I prepare mine. So the first one that I got is Buttercup squash. Now, Buttercup squash is something that you have to be very careful about because it can often be mistaked with kabocha. So the way that you tell the difference between a buttercup and a kabocha, a wicked good buttercup looks like this. And it has this huge little poop coming out of it. This is a good buttercup, okay? The other type of buttercup, I'm like in the middle of cutting this one open right now. The way you know that it's a buttercup is the bottom has this little circle, okay? You see this little circle? If it's a kabocha, I will insert a picture of a kabocha right now. The kabocha comes to a point, whereas this is like an innie belly button, but the kabocha is the outie belly button. Now the difference between a kabocha and a buttercup is that kabocha is trash. I used to think that I liked kabocha until I realized that there's a difference between the two. This is a good one. Okay, so kabocha, what often happens with kabocha is that they end up being very watery on the inside, and I'm not here for it. I'm here for a nice deep orange starchy squash. This resembles more of a potato texture. I just had to get a spoon to scoop out the seeds. Whereas I often find that when I get kabochas, they're quite yellow on the inside, and then they end up being very honestly watery and tasteless. The more rugged it looks, like this one has a lot of marks on it, that's how you know that it's better. When you pick it up, you want it to be very heavy, and you also want it to look like, honestly, like it's not a great squash. Those are the tasty ones. Those are the ones where you're gonna get a nice deep orange color and flavor. And if you are lucky enough to be at a grocery store where, and I've done this before, if I've had a batch and I'm not sure about it, oops, I'll say to the produce worker, I'll say, could you please cut this open for me? And they're usually very happy to do it. And then you're able to see what the inside looks like. Now, if you're able to, when you touch it, you want it to be dry. If when you cut it up, it really starts to get that like perspiration, is not like the condensation of the water, then you know that you've got yourself a wet one, and it's probably not going to be the sweetest. It'll probably be wet and kind of tasteless, which we don't want. So you kind of want it to have this dry texture and a really deep color, because then it has sort of the potato starchiness with a really great sweet flavor. So that is the Buttercup, and I'm obsessed with Buttercup. Right now I'm preheating the oven to 475. I'm gonna put it on parchment paper, and I just cut it up, put it on parchment paper, and it's delicious. I eat it with lettuce, obviously. All right, next up we have got the Carnival squash, Carnival. And I also got a sweet dumpling squash. Like, let me know what the difference between these two is. But I just wanted to get the full variety. So the Carnival squash I really, really enjoy. It tastes sort of like an acorn squash, but I don't know, it's just something about it I really like. And I cook this one the same way. So it's definitely sweeter. It has a sweeter texture, but it also is a little bit more wet. So it's not starchy. I mean, it is starchy, but it's not a starch that's really gonna fill you up. Like, I would never count on this to be what's gonna give me pure satiety. There's surely not enough calories in here for that. But it really is just really sweet and really delicious. So it has the texture of acorn, but honestly, or rather it has the taste of acorn with the sweetness of it. It really is nice and sweet, but it does have sort of, it's kind of funny. What the heck? It sort of has the sweetness. I would say, honestly, the Carnival squash, oops, here's what it looks like on the inside. I'm gonna have some of this too. It's like a marriage between the acorn squash and spaghetti squash, because I find that when I eat it, it sort of has the stringiness to it. But this stuff is really delicious, so I highly recommend this as well. Next up, we got the sweet dumpling squash. So the difference between these two is that the Carnival, there's a little bit of orange on here, but the sweet dumpling really just has mostly green stripes. And so therein lies the difference. And it's honestly, it's pretty much the same thing as the Carnival squash. I really don't see a difference between those two. But nonetheless, it is very delicious, and I just like getting the different varieties because it feels like I'm doing something different. Sorry, I was out of focus for that entire thing. Then we got ourselves Delicata. I love Delicata. Delicata is so yummy. Now, I sort of am a little bit spoiled because, or I don't know if spoiled's the right word. Well, maybe it is. Because I sort of like spoiled my taste buds when it comes to Delicata. I'm sorry that I keep getting out of focus. But the first Delicata that I ever tried was the Trader Joe's Delicata. And they sold it in like pre-cut bags. It was all pre-cut. And it was literally screaming orange. It was so bright orange. And I ate it and I was like, this tastes like a Snickers bar. Like, this squash is a Snickers bar. And so I became addicted to it. And I thought the first time I'd ever tried it was in LA because all the Trader Joe's in LA had them. And then I came home, they didn't have them. And so I was depressed. And then finally Delicata squash season came, and so I was so excited. And I tried it, and it's just, I cut these open and they're not orange on the inside. So I found the best ones are the ones that have this gold tinge to them. The ones that are really yellow are gonna be yellow on the inside. So if you can find ones that have a gold tinge to them, honey, you're good to go. All right, and then we got one more squash to feature. I totally lied, we have 2 more. This is why this season rocks so much. We have so many, I can't even keep track. The Honeynut. The Honeynut is the cutest thing ever. It's literally a mini butternut, but it actually tastes good. I don't like butternut. I only like butternut when it's like in my butternut squash risotto. I would never eat butternut the way that I eat all of these other squashes, but the Honeynut is so good. It doesn't have, I don't know, something about butternut is just, it's not, I don't know. I just don't love it. But the Honeynut is so good. Like, you guys gotta get yourself some Honeynut. It's very starchy and sweet. It's sort of like a sweet potato, but it keeps its creaminess when you cut it up and bake it. Last one is the tried and true Acorn. Now, this is not rare. You'll find these wherever, so there's nothing particularly cool about them. It's basically the same as all of these other acorn looking like squashes. Although, you know what's so funny is it has a little bit of orange. And I bought an acorn and then I ended up not using it, and it just like sat in my pantry for a million years. And then it turned orange, and like now we use it as decoration. It's like outside next to the pumpkins. But it's funny because they sell like gold acorn squashes, and I'm like, I'm on to you. I think that that's just an acorn squash that's been sitting out forever. Also, there is squash in my hair. Story of my life. So yeah, those are all the squashes that I got. So I'm gonna cut this up, put it on some parchment paper, roast it up, and eat it, honey. And then my mom and I are heading out for the night. We're going to this girls' night out, like craft farmer's market fair thing. Waving around my knife like a crazy woman. And then we're gonna get some sushi after, so I'll see you there. We have arrived. Mom, what is this called? It's called Ladies' Night Out?
Yeah, Ladies' Night Out.
About to get wild. What's it called?
Ladies' Night.
Ladies' Night. Let's do it. So this is super cute. It's like local vendors have, you know, the food that they have or the crafts that they have, and they have samples of it. So it is really, really cute. I think I'm the youngest one here by like 45 years, but that's okay. And I just cannot believe like we are getting into the time of year of advent calendars. We are getting into the time of Christmas carolers. When you're in the middle of shaving and then you realize that you forgot your potatoes are in the oven. When you thought that you didn't have any leftover sweet potatoes in the fridge, but you do. When you realize that you have to cut the chestnuts before you put them in the oven or they're gonna explode in your face. When you try to make corn tortillas from scratch and it actually works. When you thought it was a buttercup squash, but it was a kabocha and it's wet and tasteless. When you try putting cinnamon on your sweet potatoes for the first time. When you've been eating orange sweet potatoes all your life and then you try the Hawaiian ones. When somebody says that they would never eat vegan food, but they're eating an apple. Now at sushi, I have got my hot water, which is gonna turn into tea, and Mom has her marg. So what are we cheersing to, Mom?
To you and me out together.
That's right. Cheers, baby. So I'm getting the oshinko because it's bomb. The spinach, and I'm gonna get the veggie, but they actually put in it, I'm gonna take out the avocado from it, and also they put in the seasoned squash, which is seasoned in bonito, which is fish flakes. So if you're vegetarian, that's fine, but if you're vegan, make sure, you know, be careful of campio. All right, so we have got here the oshinko, and then this is oshinko and spinach, and then spinach, and Mom got the veggie combo. Has it been good, Mom? Alright, honey, so what I want to talk about today is how to deal with your non-vegan, non-healthy, non-plant-based family members around the holidays, because Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas is coming up, whatever holiday you celebrate is coming up, and you're gonna be surrounded by family and friends that aren't necessarily eating the diet that you're eating. And I want us to actually take this advice and not only use it during the holidays and in relation to food, but We can use this in any aspect of our lives, and you'll find that the advice that I give you is honestly applicable in so many different aspects of whatever habits you engage in that others may not engage in. So let's go ahead and chat some more. So first, let's talk about why people get so defensive when it comes to their diet, and when they see you eating a vegan diet or they see that there's not meat on your plate, they tend to get really feisty about it, and it sort of becomes this really awkward scenario. So the reason behind this dates back to our primal brains, all right? So we have brains that are 100,000 years old. Our brains have not changed that much in the past 100,000 years. So we're kind of like cavemen walking around looking fly. But in all seriousness, we really do have primal brains. Now, when we see that somebody else is eating a diet that's different from our diet, that signals to our primal brain, oh my goodness, that village is eating a different diet than our village, and that's a threat to our village, because if that village says that their diet is better than our village's diet, then our village is going to die out. This is what our primal brain says when we see somebody eating a diet that's different than us, and it's an extreme threat to our survival. And because we feel that threat, we don't know it's a threat, we just know it's a really uncomfortable feeling. Because we feel that threat, that's why we feel as though we have to act on it. So that's why when you sit down for dinner and there's not meat on your plate, somebody feels very, very insecure about the fact that there's meat on their plate, because that says to their primal brain, that village is eating a diet that could perhaps be superior to your village's diet, and that means that you and your village are going to die out. So this is something that we have to keep in mind when the holidays come up, because we have to remember it's not that these are horrible people that are attacking us because of what we're eating. They're not mean-spirited. They're not out to get us. It's honestly that they are just humans, and we have this innate instinct to want to eat the diet that's best for us and to believe that our diet is the best diet, because if our diet is not the best diet, then that's a signal to our primal brain that our species, our village, is going to die out. So that's why people tend to act the way that we do, and it's really so important that we keep this in mind, because it's not the soul of that person that's attacking you, it's that their primal brain is threatened, and that's the natural human response to seeing somebody that eats a diet that's different than yours. So with these people that are saying these things to you, please keep this in mind. And what I also urge you to keep in mind is the importance of relationships. Humans are social creatures. We're social animals, and it is far healthier for us to be in relationships and have these nice, strong, flourishing relationships with people that eat differently than us, than to destroy these relationships because these people eat differently than us. I see so many people really rupture their relationships with others because of differences in diet, and honestly, it could be healthier for them to be eating an unhealthy diet and still have these relationships. It's very unhealthy for us to lose our relationships because our diets are different. I urge you, honeys, I urge you to keep your relationships at the forefront, and don't let differences in diet, it's so silly, don't let differences in diet be something that breaks up in a very important relationship to you, because those are so important for our overall health. Our relationships are so important to our health. So those are some things that I want us to keep in mind when these scenarios do come about. When somebody says to you, you gotta eat meat or you'll die, you need milk for your strong bones, whatever it is that they're saying to you, keep this in mind, that it's their primal brain acting up, and it's really so important for you to just keep this relationship nice and cultivated and healthy and wholesome, as opposed to fighting back. So never ever fight back. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. When people are out there criticizing your diet, it's not an invitation for you to educate them on the plant-based diet or veganism or whatever stance it is that you hold, even if you're not vegan. It's actually a really bad idea to do that, because that presents you as a fighter. It's really not a good look to be a fighter in this lifestyle. This is what turns so many people off to the plant-based lifestyle, is that there's an association between fighting about the lifestyle and living the lifestyle. And that's something that I never engage in, and I don't encourage people to engage in, because it really just, it's not a good look. for veganism or the plant-based lifestyle to always be arguing about it. So what do you do when people say these things to you? When they say you need meat for strong bones, like it's the circle of life, whatever they're saying. My honest advice is to just kick the rock down the road. What does that mean? That means just say, yeah, hey, maybe you're right. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Just delay, delay, delay. You know how they say, like, deny till you die, delay till you die. Just kick the rock down the road. Hey, maybe you're right. You know, maybe I will die. Maybe I do need milk for strong bones. Maybe you're right. And then just keep doing what you're doing. Because I'm telling you, nothing good is gonna come from truly engaging in a debate or an argument about this. I've never seen one person say to another, you need meat to eat, you're gonna die if you're not eating meat, and this person's eating meat themselves. I've never seen somebody turn around and be like, well, actually, and then they give them all the facts, and the first person's like, hey, you're right. That never works. The best thing to do is, if you do want to educate them, if you're truly concerned about their health, what I would suggest you do is say, I have some stuff that would blow your mind. I literally was so shocked when I learned this stuff. So can I email it to you? Like, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll probably bore you half to death, and I won't say it as well as the way that the doctors say it. But I was shocked when I learned this stuff, because I thought the same thing about eating meat and drinking milk. I thought all of that. But literally this stuff blew my mind. Like, you're gonna love it because you're intelligent, so you'll actually understand that. You know, like, butter them up a little bit and then be like, can I send it to you? So you're sort of delaying it again. So it's not just that you're rolling over and dying. If you do, I think they might be the ones doing that. But if you do want to educate them, you can say to them, oh my God, I have the best article, and I can't remember exactly what it said, and I don't want to get it wrong, so can I just send it to you and then we'll talk about it later? That way you can kick the rock down the road. Another thing that I suggest you do is honestly just make humor out of the situation. When somebody says to me, like, you're gonna be protein deficient, I'll be like, I know. Like, I was supposed to get my protein deficiency pills the other day and they didn't come in. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. Like, I like to make a joke out of it, and then people will be like, hey, that vegan's not half bad. I actually like that girl. And I have to say, something that I'm complimented on often is the fact that I'm not a pushy person, and I'm not pushing my views on other people. And people really appreciate that. And I think that's how I've been able to communicate with a lot of people, is by inviting them in if they want to learn, but never pushing my views on others. And also just being so chill and lax and nonchalant about the whole thing. And I know people will say that this is not a good look, that, you know, I'm a bad vegan because I'll let people say to me, like, you need meat or you're gonna die. And I'm like, I know you're right. Like, you wanna help me pick up my casket for my funeral? People will say that that's not the right thing to do. And there's really not a right answer for any of this. And it's just sort of that we have to navigate it in this really weird time in history where half of us are eating animals and half of us aren't. We're in this weird transition period, and at least we know that if we are the ones that are not eating animals, we can say that we were on the right side of history. But during this tough navigation time, there really is no right answer, and it's just best to do your best. And then my last little piece of advice is just don't let them get to you, and even if you are angry, just don't show it. This is something that I use. This was a tactic that I used in teaching, and at the end of the year, I actually had a kid say to me, my student Danny, he was like, you know, Miss Keefe, we could never get to you, and we tried so hard, but you just wouldn't crack. And I took pride in that, because if, you know, people keep bantering and bantering, they want to get a reaction out of you. But if you don't give them that reaction, and I taught 8th graders, like I taught kids that were 14, 15 years old, like it was their pride and joy to try to get to the teacher, and the math teacher at that. I mean, I was just like fresh meat for them. I was 22 years old too when I was teaching them. So I really was like, I never told them how old I was because I didn't want them to know how young I was. But I just didn't let them get to me, and after a while it's like they stopped trying. So if people are making fun of your diet and you get all upset about that, like they love that. They've met their goal. That's what they want to do. So just don't show them that you're upset. Remember that the relationships are so important. Keep on keeping on and eat those potatoes, honey. Okay, I think I'm gonna close out the vlog here. so that Mom and I can have some girl time. She's smiling behind the camera. So, I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.